All right, let's get right into it. We're in 2026, and the whole conversation around virtual reality, it's completely changed. We've really moved past all the hype and are now in a time of real hands-on applications. And the biggest reason for this huge shift? You guessed it, artificial intelligence. AI is the spark that's finally bringing these virtual spaces to life, turning them from cool tech demos into, well, something so much more.
I want you to think about this for a second. Have you ever put on a VR headset, stepped into this absolutely stunning virtual world, and just felt kind of lonely? For the longest time, VR experiences were beautiful but empty. The worlds were gorgeous, sure, but they were also static. They felt lifeless, filled with characters that were more like robotic puppets than actual beings.
And that right there is the massive transformation we're talking about today. For years, VR was like a beautiful but totally empty movie set. You could look around, but you couldn't really interact with it. Now, with AI, that stage is finally coming alive. It's becoming a living, breathing world, a dynamic ecosystem that reacts to you, that evolves around you, and it feels genuinely alive.
So, how is this actually happening? Well, it all starts with the inhabitants of these worlds. The single biggest leap forward is how AI is completely transforming the non-player characters, or as we all know them, NPCs.
You know, this quote from John Spitzer at NVIDIA really hits the nail on the head. And remember, NVIDIA is a giant in both gaming and AI, so this isn't just some hopeful prediction, it's basically a mission statement from a company that is right at the heart of this revolution. They don't just see this as a small update, they see it as a complete reinvention of how we experience digital worlds.
For decades, NPCs were, well, they were basically digital puppets on a string. You'd walk up to one, you'd see a menu with 3 pre-written questions, and you'd get one of 3 pre-written answers. That was it. Their dialogue was totally limited, their actions were super repetitive, and you could figure out all their tricks in about 5 minutes. They were just there to give you a quest, not to be a real character.
But now, we've gone from clicking menus to having actual conversations. Using incredible tech like NVIDIA's ACE pipeline, the whole process is unbelievably cool. So first, an AI listens to you and writes down what you say. Then, a large language model, think of it as the AI's brain, processes your words and comes up with a completely unique, unscripted response on the spot. After that, another AI turns that text back into natural-sounding speech, and, this is the amazing part, a final AI animates the character's face in real time to match the words and the emotion. It's this seamless chain of AIs working together to create a character you can actually talk to. And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi dream, this is happening right now in the games of 2026. In PUBG, you've got AI teammates that play so well they feel just like your human friends. In a life sim game called Inzoi, the entire city is filled with AI citizens just living their own lives. In Mir 5, you can fight a boss that actually learns your tactics and adapts. And in Dead Meat, you can interrogate characters with any question you can dream up, totally off script. The puppets are alive.
But AI isn't just creating the people in these worlds, it's building their homes. We're moving away from artists handcrafting every little thing to entire universes being generated by smart algorithms. Let me show you what I mean.
Just take a look at that number, 18 quintillion. It's a number so big our brains can barely even process it. So what in the world does it represent?
That is the number of unique, explorable planets that were created by AI-powered procedural generation in the game No Man's Sky. This isn't about an artist sitting down to design one planet. It's about designers creating a set of rules and systems and then letting an AI use those rules to generate an almost endless number of unique planets, each with its own landscape, its own plants, its own creatures. It creates this feeling of true discovery that handcrafted content could never, ever match.
And this isn't just about making games huge, it's also about being incredibly efficient. For developers, generative AI is a total game changer. I mean, look at this chart. Creating art and models for a game can be cut down by as much as 90%. This changes everything. It means the smaller, independent teams can now create huge, amazing worlds that used to be possible only for giant studios with massive budgets. It just opens the door for so many more creative and experimental VR experiences.
Okay, but the impact of all this goes way, way beyond just entertainment. AI inside of VR is now being used to solve really complex human challenges. Everything from overcoming social anxiety to bridging language gaps between people across the world. This quote from a recent study is just wow. It's incredibly powerful. Researchers built this VR platform called TumSphere to help international students get used to living in a new country. And what they found was that students felt way more comfortable practicing a new language or asking what they thought were silly questions to an AI. Why? Because it creates this judgment-free zone, this social sandbox where people can learn and build confidence without being afraid of making a mistake in front of another person. Now, a huge challenge in making these AI interactions feel real is speed. You see, there's a bit of a trade-off. If you use a powerful AI in the cloud, you get smarter, more detailed responses, but it can create a delay. You know that awkward pause in a video call? It's like that. It's called a latency presence grab, and it can totally break the illusion. That's why a lot of developers are now moving to on-device AI. It's much faster, almost instant, which makes the whole experience feel so much more natural.
And just look at the range of applications popping up. We're seeing real-time translation that lets people from different countries talk to each other seamlessly in social VR. We're getting AI companions in chat rooms so no one ever has to feel left out. And we're seeing platforms where you can just type a description of a room you're imagining, and an AI will build that virtual space for you right then and there.
But maybe the most personal use of this tech is the rise of the AI coach. I want you to imagine a virtual tutor or a trainer or even a therapist that is infinitely patient and perfectly customized just for you.
And this is already being used in so many different fields. In fitness, AI coaches are turning exercise into a game to help people build healthy habits that stick. In construction, they're providing critical safety training to migrant workers, completely overcoming language barriers. In healthcare, they guide athletes through personalized rehab exercises. And in education, like we've seen, they help students become fluent in new languages. It's all about providing personalized, adaptive training for everyone.
So, when you put all of these pieces together, the living characters, the endless worlds, the natural interactions, the real-world applications, it becomes incredibly clear. We are witnessing a fundamental shift in what virtual reality is and what it's about to become.
So, let's just quickly recap this whole journey. The characters in our virtual worlds, they've evolved from simple puppets into intelligent, conversational partners. The worlds themselves have gone from being static, hand-built stages to dynamic, living ecosystems. How we interact has moved beyond just clicking on menus to having real, spoken conversations. And, most importantly, VR is expanding way beyond gaming and becoming a set of tools that can genuinely change our lives for the better.
This incredible meeting of AI and VR is doing more than just improving a piece of technology. It's blurring the lines between what's possible and what's real. And it leaves us with one last fascinating question to think about. As AI continues to breathe life into these virtual worlds, where does the simulation truly end, and where does our new reality begin?